And we're live. Welcome everybody to RugRoast episode. I don't even know, 25, I think, something like that. But we'll do a little intro. RugRoast. 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 All right. Welcome. What's up, everybody? We've got me, Bern. We've got 2160. We've got, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Hiram or Hiram?
Hiram.
Okay, good.
Got it.
With Lala, welcome, man. And we've got Josh with Swoops as well.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good to have you guys. So I took a peek at both your projects, and interesting. Should be a good show. With that, we'll get right into it. Hiram, we're gonna do Lala first, and then we'll do Swoops next. But basically, we're just going to we're gonna review your project, and then we're gonna rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, a la one bite. Everybody knows the rules type of deal. Hiram, first off, welcome. But how did you get started into NFTs? Like, what's your background, and how did you end up in Web3, I should say?
Yeah, so I got started back in 2021 when I was working at 776, which is Alexis Ohanian's venture fund. He's a big collector himself. I was a big collector of other things prior to my job there, and organically we started talking about what was going on back then with all the big explosion of NFTs with NBA Top Shot, Doodles, Bored Apes, all these like big collections, and that was what kind of like piqued my interest, and I really wanted to like dive into the tech. I'm a product guy. I've been building product my entire careers, first as a developer and then leading product development. So I really wanted to learn what we were capable to do with this technology of blockchain and NFTs, and like doing something more than just an interesting artwork, which is awesome. But like as a builder, I want to like see what I can build more with that. So that's kind of like where I got really diving in head first into the space.
Nice, man. So interesting. So really you have a background in just building out products. Interested to learn more. But first, there we go. Hold on. Everyone in Spaces, can you hear me? Give me the thumbs up if you can. I had it on mute.
We can try it again.
I need a producer, or a babysitter. I think I need a babysitter to sit here and push the buttons for me. All right, we're getting thumbs up. Yo, all right. So anyway, TLDR for everyone on Twitter that missed it. Here, a background in product development, relationship with Alexis Ohanian. Kind of got you into Web3 NFTs, and really you wanted to see how you could create something unique from a product perspective, leveraging this technology. That about sums it up, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Awesome, man. So I'll pause for a second. 21, any questions or comments to begin with?
No, not at all. I'm good.
All right, cool, man.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
TGIF, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that. So Hiram, how I guess give us the rundown on Lala, man. Like, what have you built here?
Yeah, Lala is a fan-first platform that gives fans of movies and TV shows new point of access and ownership over their favorite stories. We have a first IP partnership with the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, to produce officially licensed digital collectibles or NFTs and official merch for the movie's 10th anniversary. It's a modern classic, very, very popular in the Web3 space, and the whole, the whole Wall Street bets thing back in a few years ago made this movie kind of like part of internet culture and Web3 culture. So we're super excited to not only for the first time produce official merch and digital collectibles for the Wolf of Wall Street, but actually give portion or fractional ownership of the revenue streams to the fans. So if you're a fan of Wall Street for the first time ever, you can own a piece of your favorite story.
Interesting. So what does a membership look like? Is that through the purchase of an NFT?
Yes. So there's multiple ways that you can jump in. What you're seeing here is the purchase of an NFT or a collectible grants you access to that fractional ownership over the revenue streams, plus other perks like free merch, access to unreleased footage from the movie. The movie was hilarious, and there's a bunch of scenes that didn't even make it to the movies that we're going to give holders access to. Next month, we're opening that. And we're doing a 10th anniversary event, so access to all those things. But you also can just jump into the merch store that you just pulled up and just buy some merch from officially licensed merch from the movie. And there's some that's exclusive to holders, others that anyone can buy in. And one last thing that ties it all together is we rolled out yesterday our loyalty program. So whenever you engage in the community, whenever you buy a piece of merch or buy a collectible, you earn points that you can redeem for other merch, movie tickets, and other movie and TV merch that's not necessarily the Wolf of Wall Street. So it's a way to engage fans and for IP owners, a way to connect with fans directly and reward them for being fans.
Nice, man. Interesting. Okay, so what is the NFT collection under? Is that under Lala?
Yeah, if you go to digital collectibles, click buy now or drops, either or.
Drops.
And then drop the second one. That's our latest drop.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
We partner with this amazing illustrator. Was actually won an award for one of the best illustrators in all of Latin America recently. Has done campaigns for Ralph Lauren and other fashion brands like Fendi. And what's interesting with him is he takes still images of people and builds this surrealist world around them, as you can see. And we wanted to do that style to explore Jordan Belfort's origin story, which was pretty good origin story, going in, arriving in a public bus to Wall Street. First day, super starry-eyed, super ambitious, and kind of got derailed in the process. So wanted to explore all those influences that made him into the Wolf of Wall Street.
Interesting. Okay. So you're giving revenue share. So if you hold these, you get a percentage of revenue share. That's just for the drop, right?
What do you mean?
So it's okay. About 8% of the drop one revenue distribution. So if you own this, then that's what you get, right?
You get a piece. So the portion of the revenue streams that we're giving away is from there's a movie makes money a lot of it from the box office, from ticket sales from people that go to the movie. They also make money from licensing to Netflix or any other streamers. But one piece of revenue stream that movies have is from IP enforcements. So what that means is like efforts to preserve the IP by taking down bootleg merch that is sold on different platforms like Redbubble and Amazon and all these different platforms. So we're taking that revenue and we're just giving it back to the fans of the movie.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. I'll pause there. 21. Kick it over to you. You're on mute.
Thanks, guys. The website looks great. It's an interesting concept. My only question is about the legality of the revenue share. I don't know, especially with the SEC starting to come down on NFT projects, whether you guys have had kind of legal sign off on this, or if you guys are based outside the US, or what your kind of plan or approach is to say that this doesn't reach the level of a security.
We're based in the US. We have legal around this, and we're very careful and very upfront about communicating that people that buy into this shouldn't expect a return on investment solely from the payouts that they will receive from these revenue streams. So it's more about creating a deeper connection with the story, and that's why we also offer like different points of access or touch points to those stories, like the merch, the unreleased footage, the artwork, both physical and digital artworks that the collectors get, and like access to the community and so forth. So it's about that whole package and not about like the payouts.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. I've been not involved, but like I've purchased NFTs in the past that promised revenue sharing. When it came about to actually deliver, legal, told them that they couldn't do that. But that's a great thing about the legal system, is there are multiple interpretations on how you read regulation. And so if you're saying that you get all this other stuff, including the potential for this revenue, maybe the SEC looks at that differently. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not trying to advise here. That would just be kind of my biggest concern. But I think it's really cool. It gives an opportunity as a whole to connect to, movements. This is how movements are born, right? As you said, like this movie, which I am ashamed to say I have never seen. I've seen all the memes.
What?
Oh man!
I've seen
Hold on.
clips, but I've never actually seen the movie end to end. But I completely get how things become this kind of meme and instant war within a space, and how people want to connect to it more. And actually connecting and like collaborating with the actual makers of the movie itself. I think, kudos to you to be able to introduce them to the world of Web3, an ecosystem that they have had a huge impact on, whether they knew that or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like right now I'm in LA, signing up like more IP partnerships to do this for other movies and TV shows. So super excited to now we rolled out this week the loyalty program and the merch store. So we have like all the building blocks to grow from there.
Nice. Okay. So I guess I would, okay, first of all, I like what you've done. The fact that you've gotten a partnership with the Wolf of Wall Street is, that's really impressive, man. The art's good. I like it. The merch looks cool. I think that's good. Same thing. I'm really concerned about this. Receive money from your Lala digital collectibles. Even if you have other utility, I hate that word utility, other value that you're providing. This is a big red flag. Whenever you sell an asset, and you're saying you can receive money by holding this asset, some people, and I'm not a lawyer either, might say that looks security-ish. And while we don't have those there's no laws right now, right? I'm looking towards the future and thinking that that could be a risk. I mean, if I were in your shoes, and I'm not, again, I'm not a lawyer, I would cut this part out completely. I'd cut out the reimbursement for, I'd cut out the revenue stream thing, right? Instead, I would focus on the merge and finding other ways to provide value, because I think that this, while we don't know for sure, this could kill the whole project, and it could cause problems for you and the team. But again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I hear you, and this is something from day one that, you know, like I research every project that offers something similar in the space with a legal team that has worked on some of those projects that are still very much live and you know, operating. So it's as you said, it's a day to day with no real loss around it. We're definitely, you know, I talk to my legal team very frequently about this. So, you know, like that's I hear you, and for us, it's all about how we communicate that this is about creating a deeper connection and not expecting the, you know, like to pay off any loans or your pay off your mortgage or anything close to that. And yeah, it's about really saying that, hey, like I own a small piece of this classic movie.
Definitely. Yeah, it makes sense. And again, I mean, just like this right here. Like,
Yeah. I hear you.
Like, you know, but you know, again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just some dude that buys and sells JPEGs and flips 21's friend tech keys for a 0.00001% profit.
So, question for you guys: if that part wasn't available to collectors or to you, as would you buy into this?
Yeah, I think, you know, from my perspective, being in the space for 3 years and seeing how stuff develops, you know, with that included, it doesn't actually add anything for me, right? Like if I'm such a fan of the movie, like, and I want to be a part of these other things that you're offering, if people actually do the math on splits like this, the amount you're going to make is like super minimal because you got to share it with everybody, right? And so for me, it wouldn't be like a profit. Like it's not an investment where I expect a return on my investment based off of what this movie is going to bring in, because the percentages would be so low. So yeah, it's something I definitely would invest in. With it included, I just see it as a more riskier investment. It doesn't necessarily say that I would be precluded from investing, because ultimately when I've seen, you know, SEC enforcement, it's for the project creator. It's not for the people who actually invest. So from my perspective, it's the only risk would be that you eventually as a project, you know, would have some legal action that you guys would have to deal with. But I think that what you're offering, you don't need to include this because it could be problematic because those laws haven't been like hammered out, right?
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's really cool. It's cool enough that like you actually partnered with the makers of Wolf of Wall Street, and if you continue to do this in the industry, especially if you can do it before, like, you know, big movie launches, like I think that's enough to get people excited and say, oh, let me be a part of the Web3 kind of initiative that this movie or this director or this story is telling. And it doesn't have to be this, oh, well, let me see if I can make money off of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, like that's one thing that we're also like very upfront about. This is not like an investment. We want people to not flip it, but hold it and really like participate and engage in our community, and, you know, like take advantage of the merch. We give them like discounts to holders if they So if they buy into this, so it's less about like talking about this as an investment and more like we want people to hold and create a fan, like a vibrant fan community of movies and TV.
Makes sense. Yeah. So for me to answer that question, if we were in the bull market, I'd probably look at getting in if I get in early, and I'd probably flip it. And that's no knock on your project, but it's me looking at this saying Wolf of Wall Street. Like, we all love the movie except 21, who hasn't even taken the time to watch it. But that's okay. We'll watch it in Miami. We'll do a Rug Radio movie night. Nice. Not really, but yeah, I mean, I think that there's a market for this as from an investment perspective. Personally, I would not. But if I was like a huge fan of Wolf of Wall Street, I'm a fan, but I'm not like, I want to have all the merch. But if I was like that, I would do it just so I could, like, pick up some of the merch at a discount and stuff like that. So I think there's a market for it. Personally, from an investor perspective, I wouldn't. I'm usually looking to either flip, or I'm consolidating in like 2 or 3 different things, or like the new like friend tech right now. It's the big thing. So I try to ride hype trains if I'm able to, and cash out that way. So, but I think there's a market for it. I definitely think that there's a good sized group of people who would want to collect in this collection.
Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate all the feedback.
Yeah, thanks, man. 21, you want to give the rating first? I always like to make him do it first.
Yeah, he always just likes to give me the hard job of rating first, and then he just copies whatever I say +1 or -1 depending on his feelings.
Yeah, it's like when I go out to dinner with someone, I have them order first and I just copy them. Then I don't have to like think for myself.
No, see, I'm the asshole that orders the like Wagyu fucking A4 like steak,
I'm not copying you then, unless you're paying, or if like Obi's.
Look, I lived in Japan. Anytime there's fucking Japanese Wagyu on the menu, you should order it, just as an FYI. Anyways, from a project rating, I'm gonna set the question of the revenue share aside, and just say that I think it could be a really cool thing. It's another way of adapting Web3 technology into like a membership, which I think, a lot of people find valuable, especially when there are kind of like diehard communities that amass. And what better things to kind of have this around other than like super like popular movies, right? And so the fact that like this project has a partnership with them, I think is incredible. I think it won't be like, hopefully the popularity of the movie will drive adoption. And I think you guys picked a good one the first time around. So I'll give it a 6.9 to remain, meme-ish. I think you guys have a good opportunity. I think in the bull market, this would have been like a no-brainer because everybody was, buying everything. But I think it might be good for you because I think what it'll do, it will attract the people that want to buy it just to hold. And that's really what you're looking for. So
yeah, exactly.
Give you an opportunity to build a small, tight-knit community that you can build up over time, right? If the model was like, flip, then we would have a different discussion. But because your model is actually building an invested community, I think it might work out in your favor.
Nice. All right. So I like the fact that you were able to get a partnership with Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, that says a lot. It means that you're able to chase down these partners that are big. That's a pretty big deal. The art's cool. The merch is cool. I like that. Big red flag on the revenue sharing for me personally. Again, I'm not a lawyer, NFA, DYOR. Yeah, I think, if you build up a nice community, like 21 said, you could leverage that community when things pick back up again, if they ever do, unless we're all just dead. But I believe that things will come back. So I think you might be able to leverage that to grow the collection and like you said, in a bull market, I would have been on this early mint if possible, and flipped it. But I think that a lot of people would hold it. So that just the red flag of the revenue sharing scares me a little bit. So I would give it a 4.2069. If you cut that out, I would raise it. But that scares me, because if I were holding it and the SEC were to come down on you and just wipe out the project, then I'm holding a bag from a long-term perspective. So but I am really impressed with what you've been able to build up here and put this all together. The merch, the art, it's all good. I like it.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, nice, man. Well, yeah, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. I did follow you. So I'll be keeping an eye on Lala and see what's going on in the future, and interested to see what else you guys come up with, because this is it's a good start. It's Wolf of Wall Street, man. So good stuff.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Keep an eye out. There's more to come.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, quick intermission. Sarah says 2160 is fire. So
those are facts, by the way.
Yeah, that's what we have a lot of women come into these streams and they say that. He probably doesn't even know her at all. And they just come in and they're like, look at that guy.
No, it couldn't be my wife.
No, definitely not your wife. But anyway, we just like to pause when she makes a nice little shout out like that. But Josh, welcome, man.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm got the office in a little different spot here, as my basement flooded about a month ago, and still dealing with the aftermath there. So sorry for the bright lights behind me of the windows there.
No, you're good, man. And sorry to hear about your basement flooding. That's one of the worst things. It's just a mess.
Yeah, it's been a gut punch the whole way through. So it's been fun. Learned a lot down there.
Yeah, you'll be in construction before you know it. But yeah, that's painful. But anyway, yeah, good to have you on the show. So I guess to kick it off, tell us about your background and how you got into Web3.
Yeah, I came from a product manager background. I worked in logistics for 10 years. Did quite well in logistics, but as soon as I had got in contact with David, who's one of our two founders, who was part of the initial idea behind the Swoops, and got to chatting with him and learning of a basketball career out there. I certainly came on board awfully quick. I was really interested in Web3 to begin with. I had started off in another basketball kind of related project, not as a member of the team in any way, just doing a lot of freelance stuff. And we actually sprung up a league that we were running through Basketball GM that did pretty well. And that's kind of how I got into chatting with David to begin with, since that's what we were looking to do over on the Swoop side of things, just in a more official, kind of cleaner way.
So who are your teams for college and NBA?
All right. So I'm a Michigan guy.
No. All right. You're out of here. You're out.
Who am I speaking with? Are you an Ohio Stater?
No, I'm a Spartan, man.
Oh, even closer to home. You're kidding.
I'm just going to tell you right now, we're going to whoop Michigan's ass this year in basketball.
I would be shocked. Oh, in basketball. Okay.
Not football. No, football. Let's not talk about football.
Yeah, football has not been the shiniest days for MSU as of late. But yep. So Lions for football, obviously. But basketball, I'm a Pistons guy, of course. I love all my hometown teams. Pistons, for the first time in a few years, feels like they got a little. I'm excited. I'm really excited for the games. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm going to the Lions-Bears game in November.
Hey, hopefully they'll stop them. They've been Bears have been looking pretty bad out there.
Yeah, Lions are looking good, man. Definitely enjoying it. So, are you from the D or?
Yep. I live in the Detroit area. Yeah.
Nice. I'm over in Holland.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I certainly know that area. I'll be heading out kind of toward that way here in a little bit on a little vacation there in a couple of months. So, but man, yeah, it's a small world out here. I always find out.
Yeah, for sure. We got to do a Michigan Web3 meetup at some point, or even like Chicago, something like that.
Oh yeah. Yep, there's plenty of us. But if you'd like, I can give you guys a little rundown of kind of what Swoops is and what we're doing over there.
Definitely.
So Swoops is a simulation strategy basketball game. So think kind of like Zed Run, for those familiar with Zed Run, where it's horse racing. This is basketball, so you're going to comprise lineups using your players, and you're going to enter those players into real head-to-head contests and tournaments against other teams. Games run around the clock, so if you want to play, you can go find yourself a lobby or join the matchmaking queue at any time since the launch of our project here, and since our game started in January of this year, we've had over 400,000 games played. You can build your team through. We have each season there's a new draft class that comes into play. They kind of go up and down depending on what the demand is, and with those players, bring some new players into the ecosystem. At a certain point, players can age out of the ecosystem, at which time you can attach them to existing players in your locker room to give them a little boost. But for anyone who's familiar with like a 2K model where you have this team and each season your players progress and regress, ours is much the same. So you get your players, and each year you'll have a season, and then when that season ends, you'll get to have what is our player reveal day and our player evolution days, which are always electric, where you get to learn more about your players, and they actually go up and down. You can kind of see, oh, this guy I wasn't really using much last year, but now I think he might have found a slot in our starting lineup. As you can see on the screen here, this would be kind of like one of our player pages, where each of our player has 15 underlying attributes, and those each season another one gets revealed. And then also these are the attributes that you would see going up and down at the end of each season as well. Our players play in games, like I said, head-to-head contests. We have daily tournaments each season. I mean, this season alone, we have 2 majors, an all-star game, a rookie fest, our end season mega tournament called the Swooper Bowl. And this season alone, I think we're giving out over 30,000 in prizes. So ton in prize money that gets sent right to their wallets. So it's been a blast.
Wow, man. This is pretty cool. I'll let 21 ask any questions first.
Okay, first, it's just basketball?
Yes, we are just basketball. Well, right, we haven't we haven't closed the door on other future, expansions. But for the current moment, our focus is basketball. That is correct.
I'll put my disdain for the sport of basketball aside. Secondly, when you create like a game, is there any like wagering against that game, or it's just to like help elevate your player stats or your team stats?
So currently, when you're entering a game, they're all free to play right now. We will in the future, kind of as Zed does, where you can, I want to get in a race that costs this much money, and we'll offer those different tiers of levels that people can get in. We currently are supporting all the prizes. We don't do any prizes on our head-to-head contest currently, but if you go to a locker room, like if you were to right now, which you actually would be able to if you wanted, we do have free to play available, which is something we just launched. And it was something that we kind of launched, for any that wish to claim their free player, and anybody that's listening, you can visit playswoops.com to do so. We have social sign in, or you can sign in using a wallet. That will give you a free player, and you'll actually be able to turn that player into an actual on-chain player. But this is kind of like an outreach program to the non-Web3ers in a way to kind of covertly get them into our world without them even really realizing that they're playing a Web3 game, as they're gaining this player. And then, now they have a player that they can enter in 1 Swoopster tournaments, 1 Swoopster games, or if they are feeling ballsy, they can enter them into the 5 Swoopster ones. And start to participate in our community, and then start to explore beyond that and see, hey, well, this is actually pretty fun. I'd love to pick up another player or 2, and maybe I'd start being competitive in a 3 Swoopster. And
yeah, I think this is very timely. One, I love the outreach, the sneaky outreach, because even though this is a Web3 show, I think me and Byrne tell everybody, make mass adoption your kind of end game, but do it in a way that people don't realize that you're using the technology behind it. I think it's great positioning. I actually like the Zed Run model. I think in a bull, it could absolutely kind of, come in here and change your guys' business. So when you guys operate, or start introducing that model, I think that'll be great for you guys. But I think this is really, really cool for those people that, love basketball. It's kind of very like fantasy basketball-esque, but being able to build out your own team. There's a lot of people that love, stats like that. And obviously the games that are associated, the major games that are associated with that on like Xbox and PlayStation. So it looks really, really well
as
built
you can
out
see here,
as well.
this is our kind of our lobby page. These are all games that are happening. You can take a look at the timestamp to see, 234, 234,
Very busy.
A lot of different teams in there, always kind of playing and tweaking their lineups and getting ready. We just had a big event wrap up, which was the SOA Cup, which is our Swoops Owners Association Cup, which took the top 32 teams by win percentage and put them in a big massive tournament against one another, where it was best of 3, best of 3, best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, and they competed for a grand prize. From here, if you were to go up to the top, you could click over to the tournaments tab, and there should be some open tournaments right now that you can jump into with your players. You would, it looks like maybe you're signing. You probably have to verify your email before it would let you join one. But here you'd be able to join in tournament for today. We have different size tournaments for those who maybe don't want to play in one that's with 5 swoopsters, because if you don't have 5, you got to make up your lineup with some free agents. They may be free to use, but they're not the best players. So you might want to stick to some of the smaller ones. If you head to your locker room, within there, you'd be able to name your team. You could add a team logo if you choose. There's all of the ongoing challenges here that you'll see in front of you, where it's play 5 games, win 25 games. And this is how you actually earn SP, which will move you up the leaderboard, which will get you into some more big tournaments and things of the sort. So you've submitted that. I can go on my end right now and actually approve you if you'd like.
Dude, this is super smooth. Like really smooth. I mean, cheers to having this tech, dude.
Well, thank you. It's been obviously as all do, there have been some bumps along the way and some things we needed to iron out and this and that, but it is a lot of fun, and our community rewards us like each and every day with how excited they are to play and do the different things that we put out there as challenges and everything else. So it's been a blast. It really has.
How many active members do you have?
So between our 2 games, we have this game and we have our NBA mini game, somewhere around like 600 or so between the 2. The NBA mini game, if you click GM there and press play, so each day there's a new lineup. It will have a theme to the lineup. Today's theme is Superior NBA 3-point Bombers. And then kind of like those existing models, if you've ever seen one of those posts where it's like you have $15 to create a lineup to take on this team. This is that model, but we're taking it that step further, which is not only are you building your lineup, we're running that lineup through our proprietary simulator, which was built by everybody on our team had either experience directly working for an NBA team or the actual NBA. And for our data science team, and it will run your team through there. And then at the end of the day, come results time, you'll receive your result, you'll receive a grade, and you'll get to see where you stack up against the other GMs that day. So it's a lot of fun.
Dude, that's so cool. I'm just picking the top. Oh, I can't because you only have 20. I got $22.
You're $2 over already.
Oh, man.
Everybody wants those top dogs.
You just easily click them and call it good, right?
So there's a little strategy to this too, where it's, if you're thinking that you got a really good lineup and you can come in under budget, you'll get a little boost to your GM grade that day if you happen to win. So, you can try to play with that a little bit, and there are many that try to do it. And, it's tougher to win if you're not using your full budget, but it's a lot of fun.
Wow, man. This is great. So it looks like it's built on Taurus, right?
The Taurus wallet is just something we use. This is on ETH.
Okay, I was like, I never heard of Taurus. Okay.
Yeah, Taurus Wallet was just something we needed to find that bridge to be able to allow the social sign-in aspect of using like a Google login to help bring in, because as I'm sure you've seen if you've been involved in projects, when you're trying to reach out to somebody who isn't familiar with Web3, boy, there are some leaps and some hurdles to get them to even just get into the door. So this was an effort to be able to use that Taurus wallet. It kind of acts as that bridge between a social sign-in in Google and getting into our ecosystem.
So can I ask, is this just like simulations that happen in the background? Is there any kind of actual imagery when like the games are being played themselves?
Sure. If you want to go to if you're still on the site and want to go to a game, we could click on a game. Currently there's no where you'll see a court and you'll see little balls moving, though that is something that, in a lo-fi version, something that we would look to do kind of first if we did a visual before moving on to something a little more expansive. But what it does do is you can arrive to a game page. It will show the two teams and it will show the one scroll for the play-by-play and one scroll for the box score, and you can click watch and you can toggle with the speed, or you can toggle by the quarter you're in, however you choose, or you can just, for a lot of people who are like, I can't take waiting through this, they just click reveal and they just want to see that result. But you can sit through and you can watch your game and watch that box score be populated live. So for our SOA Cup yesterday, myself and one of our other team members, Trent, we call all the action live on Twitch with the community and kind of get in there, and it's a lot of fun. We do bracket contests around it, and some of our community members have put on some kind of like daily fantasy style contests surrounding some of our bigger tournaments. It's been cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was just while you were talking, was thinking about Zedrun and the actual like imagery of a race happening, which I think adds a lot to the user experience, and it's very powerful. So the more that you can boost that kind of imagery, you're right, there's always going to be the people that are like, just reveal what happened, right?
Yeah.
But there are some people that like want to actually have a user experience more than just like a game is happening in the background and they find out a score. So I'm glad to hear that you guys have that kind of on your iteration map moving forward.
Oh, take a look there in your locker room. Your team name's been approved.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Can't swear on the show, Burn. It's a family show. You're on mute, man. So I'm just busting your balls and you're saying nothing.
Yeah, I was just saying, shut your mouth. How do I play a game?
So scroll down for me real quick. Okay, so it looks like you might have to verify your email first before your player will show in your locker room. Looks like it might not have come through, but typically as soon as that's done, you'll have a player in your locker room, and then you can just head on over to on the top bar. There's the head-to-head tab for the court, and you can head there and you can just jump into the matchmake queue. And depending on how many people are playing at any given time, I would say results usually show within 2-3 minutes. You'll get a notification in the little bubble up there in the top right corner to the left of that jersey. There's a little notification bell. Right there. You'll get a notification when your game is finished, and you can click in and view the result.
Nice. Is it possible to be like, so can the players set a buy-in? I can be like, hey, I want a $50 game if anyone wants to do it.
Not currently, but that is something that we discuss for, for one, just having the different levels of, here's some always where there will always be some $20 games, always some $10 games, always some $5. And then, like you mentioned, a possible scenario where it's like, hey, I'm putting up this and this is what I want my buy-in to be. Who wants to click this button and play against me?
Yeah, winner take all.
Right. And I'm sure that will reach the appetite of quite a few in our community as well that have built some awesome teams and are very rightfully confident in their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I like to gamble for sure. So that would be appealing to me. But I'd imagine you have to run that by legal for sure, right? With gambling laws and restrictions and things like that.
Sure. Yep. When that part comes in, everything's got to be 100% with, tied up, and all the information behind it's got to be there to know that you're doing it the right way. Otherwise, like you were saying earlier, you can find yourself in some trouble.
Yeah, that's organization killers, right?
Right.
Yeah, don't let the degen sides of us get you in trouble. Actually, go do it the right way. Like, you might need to offshore your company somewhere to be able to offer some kind of gambling in that way. But degens love to gamble, so it's definitely an avenue you guys could go down if that's the direction you wanted to take. But this looks incredible. The build out looks great.
Well, thank you very much. We got an awesome engineering team, and I mean every part of our team is great. Our marketing team, our data science team, as I was mentioning, all have MBA experience, and it's just being able to work not only with some very smart people, but some people that are smart also in the basketball sense, on top of being smart in the other areas that you need them to be, is it's been a dream.
Yeah, so one of the things I was just thinking, instead of simulating an entire game, like if you just simulated like highlight reels, like everybody wants to see like somebody dunk on somebody, right? So like if you just, from each game, there was like a highlight reel on each side. I think Chimpers does this really well. Like you can see the full battle, but then like it just give you like 4 highlights at the end that you can share on like social media. If you did that and gave people the capability to share those clips on social media, that's a great way to get people to come into your ecosystem, especially if they're badass, like a clip. So maybe something to think about, because I know like if you try to simulate a whole game, like that's a lot of dev effort, right? Like that seems to be a bigger monster.
Yeah,
than
I would think
let's just give them some clips of like people.
We even had a community member just the other day. I can't think of the game that he was referencing, but he said there was a basketball game that back in the day, if there was a close shot at the buzzer, or a buzzer beater that basically mattered in some sense, could affect the game, they would show that, just like that shot.
Yeah.
Where it'd be like, here's the simulation, and then it would go into just that shot and be like,
right. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And something as simple as that could just like. And that's a big part of it, and that's one thing when looking at our current page, and I love that you guys see kind of the beauty that we see in it as well at certain parts. But there's so much about it where it's like, boy, that we need to get some more action going here, some more color, some more a little of this. So a lot of improvements to come along the way on that stuff, and yeah, the visual part of it would be, oh man, that would really be amazing to see.
Yeah, man, I like it. Despite you being a Michigan fan, good job, man. We'll overlook that, I think.
Hey, I appreciate it. Same goes over here.
Cool, man. So 21, you want me to rate first?
Yeah, because you're POS. Go ahead.
I know, man. I'm a point of sale system for sure.
Hey, Josh, just as a side note, before he goes into his long spiel, that doesn't really matter to anybody except for him. The funny thing is we both work in logistics. So when you said that you came from logistics,
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he works in sales and I work in security. So it's just funny that we have kind of that background in common. All right, go ahead, Bern.
Yeah, I was originally at Big Brown, and then
now
I'm at another forwarder right now. But yeah, man, logistics, it's fun.
It can be, or it can't be. And it's the problem with that one, man. The thing I don't miss is it doesn't matter what time of the day or what day of the week, something can go wrong.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm doing like 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. Like,
oh yeah,
take care of it.
That something gets there.
My favorite is like 4 a.m. to talk to Europe, like
yeah, sure.
Especially being on the West Coast, it doesn't help me. But I always say, like, I was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I try, like, when people are freaking out, I'm like, you are moving boxes for a living. You're like we all need to like recenter and like actually take a look at like.
It's the amazing thing about logistics. Everybody wants everything, and they wanted it yesterday.
Yeah.
Were you in automotive by chance?
Yeah, supplying some big tier automotive. So
Oh yeah, I
if you
probably
mess
know where
up,
you used to work.
yeah,
I
if
probably
you
know
mess up, man, it is like they're talking. If you shut down a line, 100K every 10 minutes, or whatever it is, and
Oh
boy, they
yeah,
love to throw those numbers out there too if something's running behind. So, boy,
yeah,
I don't miss those calls, but yeah, that was certainly kept you on your toes.
yeah, man. I do a ton of automotive, and I mean that's the people I work with. So I definitely get that. I probably know where he used to work, but we don't need to talk about that here. But I probably know him. I probably know people there.
At
But
least
yeah,
one
man.
of the places I used to work, I'm sure you've heard of, as they are giant.
Yeah, they're probably my client.
Possibly, very possibly.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Swoops is super cool. I like the whole system. I mean, the seamless, like, create an account. You don't have to do all the Web3 stuff that 99% of our population hates or just doesn't want to take the time to do it. And I think that's where the future is going. It's all about like using L2s and creative ways to create a wallet without them knowing it. They've got it. They're leveraging the technology, which is amazing, but they're not. They don't have to deal with all the things that we deal with as basically pioneers in the space before the technology is ready, right? So that's good. I like the gamification. I like the fact that you've got games going nonstop. You've got a very active community, it seems,
Certainly.
and they're using it. So I think that can be really beneficial and spread.
Like, you could have told
Technology's
me
clean.
when everything started, you could have told me at this point right now we had 100,000 games played, and I would have been like, wow, that's incredible. But we've had 400,000 to this point, since launching in January of this year. So like, we definitely, and that's what's so encouraging to us about wanting to add those visual things down the road, is we see how sticky it can be for those that have bought into what we've done so far. Like, imagine if we can get those next steps in place. Sorry to interrupt. I apologize.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a ton you can do with this. I think it's got massive potential. I think it can be really big. Yeah, it's clean. All the tech is super clean. Moving around your site, navigating, it's all quick and snappy, which is important. Yeah, I like it.
And I didn't mention, but we're also built for mobile as well, which is something that I think when we started, we weren't as aware. Like,
has to
that
be.
is going to be the way that people play this. And boy, our community let us know quick. So, mobile, all these pages that you're seeing are mobile supported. And that is truly, and it's an interesting thing that we've also learned about our game, is a lot of people play it almost in passing, where it's like, hey, I got a couple minutes, let me throw in a few lineups. I'll check in on my results the next time I come here, when I'm sitting in traffic, or when I'm, sitting at lunch and, have
making a poo poo.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one for phones. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So it's it's been really cool.
Let's see. Okay, Ben's in comments saying a bunch of random stuff. Burn, that's not the tech. Whatever, Ben. But anyway, yeah, man. I was gonna give you an 8.4, but because you're a Michigan fan, I'm gonna give you an 8.39999999999. So I'm just deducting a little bit. That's the Michigan fan penalty. But it's a small deduction. The Lions fanness and Pistons fixes all of that. So
perfect.
Yeah, you're good, man. Great project. I like it. I think massive potential here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I'll give you an 8.42 just because Ben is a jerk. And Bern is a jerk, and I'm glad that you pissed him off. I did. But I meant you.
Ben, you hear that?
Ben isn't a jerk. I like Ben's comments. They're making me laugh. Bern's a jerk, so I'll give you 8.420. I think everything that Bern said was correct, though. Like, it's great that your website looks flawless. The fact that you're working on mobile is also great. There's many avenues that you can go down, and the interaction that you are getting from your community that you built. I mean, the amount of games that are played is just incredible. And I think that speaks to what you guys have built and kind of your vision for the future. I think that, this using Web3 technology and getting mass adoption behind, with the technology being behind the scenes, is so important. And it just watching Burn like sign up for an account like super quickly, all of those things, it looks like it works flawlessly. So yeah, big kudos to you. It looks really, really cool. You get those visuals in, and if you guys ever decided to go down the gambling route, I think the sky's the limit in a bull market for sure.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys allowing us to come on here and kind of chat, and thank you so much for all your words there. And yeah, we're super excited of everything we got going on. We got All-Star games coming up, which is always a tough one. We got to somehow pick 40 All-Stars, and then we put them off in a 4-team tournament where they play against each other an 8-team tournament that plays down to a champion. We got another major approaching, our Swooper Bowl's coming up. There's a lot of fun on the horizon. So anybody's interested, give us a shot. Check us out. It's playswoops.com. You can sign up for an account, get your free player, and start jumping in some lobbies.
Let me just do this. Playswoops.com. That's playswoops.com. Sign up now.
You gotta say it 4 times. That's the rule.
I know. Yeah, you gotta like burn it in their memory. May cause diarrhea and itching. Not really. It won't do that. Ben Lab, top 5 rug roasted projects. I don't even know, dude. But yeah, thank you for the show. 21 is very jovial. He enjoyed the fanfare, the jovial
MFer. I don't care that it was popularized in the 16th century. It's a good fucking word. I am mid, curve, and jovial. Check my Twitter profile.
Yeah, Josh. So he likes to, 21 uses all these words from like 800 years ago. He's like jovial, fanfare. He's like, what's with all the fanfare? I'm like, dude, what are you even saying? And I like it. I mean, it's fun. It's really fun to give him shit about it as well.
I don't know if you guys were Game of Thrones watchers back when it was on, but I know my girlfriend wasn't at the time, so she went through it later on, and boy, I had a good time going through the house of 7 hells when something would go wrong or anything like that, or telling her I would send a raven.
Josh, don't ruin it for me. I still think Jon Snow's like laying in a pile of mud with all kinds of stab wounds. That's as far as I've gotten that show. So that's where it's at.
You haven't finished it?
That's how it ended, I think.
Look, Burn, I have shit to do in my real life. I know that you don't, because you're slacking on building
nighttime, dude. What do you do in bed? You don't get the iPad out and watch stuff?
No. Sorry to ruin your...
You're so weird, dude. You're probably reading books or something. Nerd. I'm just kidding. But
I'm looking
up
words like jovial and fanfare.
That's true. You're using cool ancient medieval words. Yeah, pretty jovial. But yeah, I think we're just rambling at this point. So I'll play us out. Josh, thanks for coming. Love Swoops. Thanks, love guys. The project. That's playswoops.com, 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 playswoops.com. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. That was awesome. Every show.
I can't hear you over the music.
Yes, you can. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Here's what it sounded like. Hey, Burn, after every show. It's like, what? What are you saying? I didn't hear you. And